Okay, so moving on, we do a little thing at these called a Coin Dealer Hall of Fame. And the reason we started it is because the coin dealers deserve recognition too. We recognize collectors and we also recognize dealers. Without collectors, there'd be no coin hobby, of course. And that's why we have the set registry, why we try to help collectors, why we have awards to recognize outstanding achievements. But the coin dealers are part and parcel of all of this that we do and love also. And there are some people who've made such an outstanding contribution that they certainly deserve our recognition. So, and we do it basically, the post-war guys are a vote of the PCGS experts and other members of the Hall of Fame. The pre-war, we have if you want to call it an old-timers committee, Dave Bowers, Ron Guth, Doug Winter. And so we have two inductees, an old-timer pre-war and a post-war modern kind of guy in many ways. To talk about the first person that we're going to put in the PCGS Coin Dealer Hall of Fame is the first person to ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Our Baber is Q. David Bowers.
Thank you. I could be up. I like to talk a lot, like Kevin Lipton and I were talking. We both can extemporize forever just in case we have a power outage or something. But anyway, David Prosky was one of the leading New York coin dealers. If you can read the screen, it tells about his career. Just like coin dealers used to be, he sometimes got involved in some scrapes. A competitor said he had an India rubber conscience and was adaptable to any situation. But on the other hand, J.W. Scott was called the Fulton Street Octopod, and they called each other names. But Prosky was around for a long time, including the New York Stamp and Coin Company. In the early 1900s, he was one of very few people that ordered bank rolls of coins in quantity. You know, dozens and dozens of rolls of the smaller denominations. So, he died in 1928, and later, when his estate was settled, hundreds of thousands of uncirculated coins of the late 1800s and early 1900s were made available, which probably would not be available today. But he was a well-respected character in his time, a well-respected dealer, and it's nice to have him in the Hall of Fame. As David said, you know, the Hall of Fame often doesn't include dealers. Some of you might remember, probably not, about 30 years ago, the ANA Board of Directors, bless their collective hearts, said that someone made a proposal that we shouldn't have dealers at conventions because a dealer, and then someone else said, well, they're a necessary evil, we need to have them. And at the 1941 ANA convention in Cincinnati, the dealers' bourse was labeled Robbers Row. But things have changed since then, and it's just because of dealers and that ICTA exists and that PCGS exists and that the dealers are the support of the hobby. Collectors come and go, ANA board members come and go, but any of you who are a dealer, probably you've been a dealer all your life and you've contributed something. Just going to say a couple more things. Speaking of Kathy and ICTA, one thing they don't have to do is to go to New Orleans. In 1972, I think it was, we had an auction in New Orleans, and we had a night session, and somebody from the New Orleans city government said, you can't have night auctions. Why not? They're illegal. So we said, why is this? Well, because from slave auction days, you couldn't see the people clearly. So because of us, you now can have night auctions in New Orleans. One more thing about Leon. I knew Leon from day one in the early 1960s. It must have been about 65 or 66. I went over to Winchester, and they operated out of their house, and they had a photo opportunity where they had silver certificates, $1 that you could buy for $1 and sell for redeem in silver for $6 or $7. And it was a big business. And in fact, one person had a private plane flying silver certificates around. But going into his house in Winchester, in one of the living rooms, they had silver certificates crumpled up about this deep, and they're going through, kicking them up and taking pictures just for posterity. Anyway, thank you for having me, and have a good show.